Hello, everybody. This is Mike Young with adigitalnomad.net. And there's so much buzz right now around cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, not Bitcoin. There's Bitcoin over there to this side, but Dogecoin, I think that's how you pronounce it, that I want to do a video kind of explaining this whole thing. It's like a beginner's video. If you don't know what's going on, if you have no idea what the hell this stuff is. But the biggest thing you need to know right up front before you even dive into this stuff is that I'm concerned there's a market bubble right now. I'm concerned that the rise of cryptocurrency in general is more than just something that probably likely will happen, but it's a bubble. Because, usually in a bubble time, everybody's so euphoric with everything, they can't find any new places to invest, and then they finally find some place, and this is it, cryptocurrency. So let's start way back in the beginning. What is cryptocurrency? And in order to explain what cryptocurrency is, I first have to explain what currency is. If you go back way back, generations and generations ago, there was no currency necessarily. People used to actually trade things. And usually they wanted to trade something with something of a known value. So over time, things became standard as something that would be used in order to trade, in order to know what the value is that you're exchanging for. And the biggest thing that you may have heard of, and again, I'm not going to dive too deep into this, just kind of on the surface, is the gold standard. And for a while, we had the gold standard in the United States. I'm making this video in the United States here. This is 4/20/2021, which is also Doge Day or something like that. I don't know. It's 4/20 for that matter, if you're following any of that stuff. So you got to know about that too. But it has nothing to do with that other thing, other than I'm telling you what day, the month, and the year it is, because right now, we don't have that standard anymore. We used to have that in the United States, meaning I collected coins and bills as a kid. So I saw the stuff, and I have some of the stuff, like silver certificates and gold certificates. There were coins that were minted out of gold. Most of the coins were made out of silver. But the problem was that over time, those metals became expensive. And like if you had a silver certificate or a gold certificate, it looked just like your dollar bill, your $10 bill, your $100 bill. So it said you can redeem it for silver that's held in like the Federal Reserve, Fort Knox or whatever. And you could actually take those bills and exchange them for that amount of money, that amount of weight, whatever the market was bearing at that time of silver or gold, depending upon which one it was. And that was crazy to me, even back in like the 1970s or 80s, because that wasn't the case anymore. Even back in the 1970s and 80s, they no longer made coins out of silver. Do you guys know what year it was that they changed over? I think it was 1964, something like that. Anything made before 1964 most likely was made out of silver. The silver colored coins at the United States, I don't even have any. Who even uses that stuff anymore? I don't know. It costs more to make them than it does the value. But that was part of the problem, is that the silver they used to make these things, somebody determined this in 1964, is so valuable that there's no way we can make a dime out of it or a nickel. We just can't, because if you make it out of silver and it's 100% silver, it's going to be so valuable that people are just going to take them out of circulation and melt them down. That was like a big problem, apparently. But by the time my generation came around, I was born in 1970, so I'm 51 when we're making this video. That wasn't the case anymore. That wasn't happening anymore, because we had all this junk metals like zinc and nickel and whatever else was in there. That anybody who had any right thought in their head around 1964, they pulled and held all their coins. They all quickly got out of circulation, because anybody who was following the news at the time realized that why they made the change, and that they were changing them to junk metals, basically. So that's all I've ever had. I've had the junk metals and the bills that were not silver certificates or gold certificates. Now, why? It's because it turned into a fiat currency. A fiat currency is basically something that represents something, all right, like the bills or the coins, but itself has no value at all, other than what, I don't know, the people that control it say it does, basically, because it's not really worth anything other than, like, if you're looking at the governments and the political weight of the government behind it. And some people have said that, like, the United States has bullied every country into submission, basically, and that's why they all recognize the United States dollar as the fiat currency of choice these days. So the dollar is almighty, although that might change. And that was everything I've just told you is true up to like through the 70s, 80s, 90s. Then you get into 2000s, and that's when the next change happened. And I didn't even recognize what was going on. I was so wrapped up in the general economy, not even thinking straight. Like most people, they don't think about this stuff. So, definitely send this off to some friends if you want to enlighten them. Well, in 2008, one of the biggest crashes in market history happened. It was a housing crisis because of all these credit default swaps that they were trading, and they had nothing behind them. They were doing no doc mortgage loans. I know, I'm in real estate, I'm a realtor. So I remember all this stuff. I couldn't talk people out of buying houses during that time. They bought them, they all went into foreclosure. Everyone kept thinking the prices were going to continue to rise. That's why they had these negative amortization and no doc loans. Why would you need any of that stuff? Because the prices are going to keep rising. Who cares, right? Well, that wasn't the case. The market collapsed, and basically the market should have gone into complete bankruptcy. It really was. I actually bought some financial stock indexes at the time because I figured, well, somehow the government is not going to allow this to happen. They're not going to allow the economy to be completely bankrupt. And I was right. I made a huge return actually off of a financial index that I bought in like November of 2008. That was like a no-brainer to me because I figured, why the government is US dollars almighty. Why would it's a fiat currency. Why would they ever let us go out of business? They didn't. So what was the solution? What prevented us from going out of business and going completely bankrupt? It was the fact that we're a fiat currency, and they started printing more and more money, more money. And what that did is it devalued everything. So if you held anything, you actually were you were lowering the value of everything that you had, and you weren't doing it. The government was doing it, and you had no control over it. So there were some people that were upset about that, and I was upset about that. But I guess I was more glad that the government didn't go bankrupt. But there were some people that were really upset about it, and they came up with an alternative, and that's when cryptocurrency was born. I think it was like 2009, 2010, something like that. And no one knows who developed Bitcoin over here, which is like the original cryptocurrency. Apparently, it's a unhackable digital math problem, and you actually have to mine and make these coins like you do traditional metal coins. And there's a Dogecoin behind it. They're not actually metal coins. You don't actually mint them. You mine them. You solve the math problem, and then you allow them to go into existence. And they're part of a blockchain. A blockchain is basically a online ledger where you can see everything that goes on all the way into the past, and no one can hack it either or change it. So there's complete transparency. That's the biggest idea that the creators of cryptocurrency were thinking needed to be dealt with, is transparency, because the government just kept printing money. They wouldn't stop until they were satisfied that they had saved the economy. And I guess the average person could do nothing about it. So we don't know who invented Bitcoin. There are all kinds of rumors. There's some Asian name I can't even remember offhand, but it's not even important because it's not a real name. It may even be Elon Musk. I think there's a lot of rumors going around saying it may be him. But you got to understand the problem. Hopefully you understand. If not, just rewind this video. I know it's old terminology. You don't have to rewind. Just go back to the beginning and understand how cryptocurrency was born. It was born because they wanted something stable. They wanted like a fiat currency because it's still it's a type of a fiat currency. It's got really nothing behind it other than somebody solved the math problem. It's not hackable. That's assuming that it's not hackable. It might be hackable. And some of them like Bitcoin, have a limited supply. That's the other thing. Limited supply. Dogecoin doesn't have a limited supply. In fact, it may even have an unlimited supply. It started as a joke, okay, with this dog mascot and all this do good every day stuff. So right now, there's a lot of euphoria around it. We'll get into that later. But the Bitcoin has a limited supply. I think it's supposed to be a maximum of 21 million coins, something like that, over time. But the number does not matter. You need to know that there's a limited supply. And once you get so many, that's it. And if this truly is unhackable and is adopted by many people, which is what's starting to happen, then maybe it has some real genuine worth to it, okay, that you can count on. You could actually, have some trust in, and that it's transparent because everything's on a ledger online. So that's the whole idea behind Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, if you don't know, I'll tell you right now, it's been the most successful, highest returning investment of all time. I think last time I even checked, which is before Bitcoin had the latest run up, it was something like 500,000% if you had bought Bitcoin, which is a fraction of a cent, back in 2010 or whenever it came out. And it was hard to get it then too. You had to get a digital wallet. A lot of people lost their wallets. All right. Now you can get on Robinhood, actually, and I've got a Robinhood account. You can find me on there, or I can give you a link or something. Maybe I'll put the link on the bottom. Somehow I get some free stock, I guess, if you get it on Robinhood. But Robinhood's the easiest way to buy this stuff. You can buy Bitcoin, you can buy Dogecoin, you can buy others. You can't buy all of them. There's other stuff like Coinbase and other, there are some kind of websites and apps that specialize specifically in cryptocurrency, and you need to get those if you want to have some more obscure types of things. And even, believe it or not, some don't even carry different things. I don't know, it's like Coke and Pepsi or something, because like Dogecoin is not available on Coinbase, believe it or not. I don't know why. But let's go back to owning it. So it used to be hard to own it. Nobody knew what it was. Nobody understood it. Nobody thought it would ever have any value. But Bitcoin went from fractions of a cent up to like recent new high of $64,000 a coin, something like that. All right. I finally bought into the stuff in the last few months, made some money, but I don't expect any because I think it's mature now. I think Bitcoin is mature. It's got a limited supply. People are adopting it. Tesla, you can buy Tesla with it. Other companies are saying you can buy stuff with, but now people are also saying about Dogecoin that you can use it to buy stuff maybe on Amazon or other things. Who knows? But Dogecoin has an unlimited supply. It's more like the traditional United States fiat currency, right? Where it could be problematic because you could have somebody that is going to devalue everything and cause hyperinflation, which actually may be happening right now. And that's another reason why this is all taken off. So after the financial crisis of 2008, there was a couple of years, 2008, 9, 10, that the government was really printing money. And then they kind of backed off, okay, because everything got better. Everybody was happy, right? Everybody was doing well economically until COVID. And this is what I didn't realize. I didn't realize it until recently that the government started the printing presses again. I guess we all know it now because you keep getting checks in the mail, okay? And originally they said you weren't going to get any of that, but you are getting it. They're sending you checks in the mail, and unfortunately, it's devaluing everything you have, and it's potentially causing hyperinflation. Look at the $1,000 a board foot that it costs for lumber nowadays. Look at how you can't even buy a house in so many metropolitan areas because you just can't get a house, and you could get one under contract. You can't get a mortgage for one because it's not going to appraise because the values are going up that fast. It's crazy. And there's going to be this happening with other things too. A lot are concerned about going forward. We don't know. We're just guessing. I'm guessing that might be the case, but who knows? So with Dogecoin, whatever it is, this thing has gone up like, it was just over a penny a couple months ago in early January. Now it most recently spiked up to like 50 cents a coin. All right, it's back down again in the 30s, I think 30 cents. But the whole thing with this is also part of what happened with GameStop. It's Main Street versus Wall Street. It's like people are trying to take over and have influence over the markets, which they can because everyone's connected, right? Like we're connected now, you're watching this video. So what's happening is they have a plan, have always had a plan for Dogecoin to get this thing to $1. It's such a joke of a currency. You can have almost an unlimited number of Dogecoin, billions and billions of them. If there's a limit, let me know. Somebody let me know in the comments because I don't think there's a limit to this coin. A lot of them are like that. Some of them do have limits. There's all kinds of cryptocurrencies too. It's not just Bitcoin and Dogecoin. It's not just these. These are just the two biggest names right now. And actually, I happen to own some of both of them. I'll tell you that. And I've made a little bit of money off of Bitcoin. I made a lot of money off of Dogecoin already. But will the party end at $1? That's the question. Because the joke with Dogecoin has always been get this thing to $1. And if you've got enough people pushing and pushing, as we found out with GameStop, they basically took a bunch of short sellers and almost bankrupted them because people started buying it. And then they finally let off because the party's not going to last forever. And a lot of people lost a lot of money. A lot of people that didn't have a lot of money, the Main Streeters. That may happen with Dogecoin. So keep an eye on that. I'm very concerned about that, number one. The other thing I'm concerned about is that we're in a massive market bubble right now. Not only real estate prices, stock prices. If you look at Tesla, have you seen some of my videos? I bought Tesla stock a couple of years ago, but now it's worth like, 1,500% more than when I bought it. I never would have thought that would happen like the entire lifetime of holding this stuff. And same with Neo stock. I bought Neo stock, same thing. I'm still holding all this, by the way. I haven't sold any, but that may change at any moment in time. And there may be a panic sell-off. I'm seeing some dips today that are pretty significant across the board. I don't know what this is going to mean, but I'm concerned. But hopefully, let me know in the comments if this video helped you. And if it did, tell me what you like best about it. Tell me if you have any other questions, if you want me to go over any other things. This is just a general overview for people that really don't understand cryptocurrency or Bitcoin or Dogecoin or whatever else is going on. But understand it's a multifaceted issue here. It's not just the issue of cryptocurrency versus the US dollar fiat currency. All right, it's different types, limited, unlimited supply. There's other things like Ethereum. I don't even know. Ethereum. I don't even own it. Okay. But that also brings up the subject of NFTs, non-fungible tokens, where you can store artwork like this picture behind me on the blockchain where others can see it, and you can kind of own a quasi copyright of that. And it's not only art, it's visual pictures, it's photographs that you've taken, it's music that you may or have done in the past or are doing now. It's an easy way to copyright stuff. And the largest single sale of an NFT, non-fungible token, which is some part of the Ethereum network, okay, it has to be part of that one. So you have to own some of that. And then you have to own some other plugins and things to connect to it. That one sold for like $69 million or something like that. Ridiculous. It was a collection. It wasn't just one piece. Well, it was one piece, but it was a collection of all this guy's work. So it was actually a really large collection. So this is kind of the future where we're going. And then Denise, my wife, and I were watching videos about bankless technology, which I'm all for. I was one of the original people back in like 1982 when I was 12 and probably should never even had a card that was using ATMs when everyone else was still in the bank waiting in line. And that was like the reason why I did that is, I didn't have to wait in line. Then eventually everyone starts using ATMs. No one goes into the banks, and then eventually, everyone buys stuff with credit cards now and floats their money or debit cards and doesn't even use cash. I can't even remember. I'm only get cash because people still have done it. I don't really get cash from anybody younger than 30. I don't think anybody younger than 30 has ever even used cash. Maybe, who knows? I don't know. But that's on the way out. All this stuff's on the way out. So this kind of stuff is where it's going. As long as you can verify it and it truly is non-hackable and truly is secure. And a lot of people thought that cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin was good for, and even Elon Musk said this one time, for illegal transactions. That's not the case unless you've got some secret coin out there. And I've seen some of them. I think it might be like Zcash, something like that, where they actually tried to hide all this on the blockchain. I'm not sure how they do that. But the whole point of the blockchain is to make it transparent and that everyone can see everything. So I'm not really quite sure I even understand all that. But just realize there's all these differences and don't just jump on the bandwagon, because right now everyone's jumping on the bandwagon. It's all emotional. Nobody knows what the hell is going on. I'm very concerned about this is going to end badly. Okay, that's what I'm thinking right now. So please comment with your thoughts. Share this around other people. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I don't feel good about it right now, at least not for the immediate future. Now, I think down the road, like I could say, way down there, we can see where things are going, all digital, everything digital. That's the whole point of this channel anyway. But in between us getting there or not, there's a feeding frenzy right now on cryptocurrencies, and any and every cryptocurrency. If you look at your accounts, if you've ever bought stuff, your digital wallet, your Robinhood, your Coinbase, wherever you happen to be. I think I just heard that PayPal and Venmo and all these other places are going to be selling. I think Cash App also sells cryptocurrency. So you can get it all over the place. And you'll soon be able to buy stuff with it. But who's going to want to buy stuff with it if they think it's going to be an investment and go up in value? Because one guy, the first transaction that just took place to end the video with this was a Domino's pizza, I think it was back in like 2010 or 11 or 12. And turns out that in today's conversions, that pizza, instead of costing $15, actually cost that guy like $250 million. Okay, because that's what that Bitcoin would have been worth today if he had held on to it instead of spending it. Anyway, that's it. It's also the reason why you want to invest your money and don't spend it on stuff. So I'm done. Thanks so much for watching. See you later. Bye.